Thanks so much for taking your seat. And on behalf of the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association, I would like to welcome everyone to the 42nd Annual Justice Michael A. Musmanno Award Dinner. I want to begin the program by introducing our head table. To the far right is going to be Ken Fulgenetti, but unfortunately he's on trial. Last year I had COVID and couldn't make it, and this year Ken's running a little bit late. Next to Ken is our Vice President, Jason Daria. Next to Jason is the 2022 Justice Michael A. Musmanno recipient, the Honorable Frederica Messiah Jackson. When he gets here, to my far left is going to be Governor Josh Shapiro. To my immediate left is President-elect Drew Duffy. Continuing on the left side of the table, I would like to introduce 2008 Justice Michael A. Musmanno recipient, Shane Inspector. And it is my honor to present the 2005 Patler President and the 2023 Justice Michael A. Musmanno recipient, Sam Pine. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge all our special guests who are listed in the program book. We appreciate their attendance and appearance tonight. In particular, I'd like to recognize the following special guests. From the Superior Court of Pennsylvania, the Honorable Jack Piniella, the President Judge. Sitting immediately to his right, the Honorable Carolyn Nichols. From the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, the Honorable Diane Welsh. From the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas, the Honorable Sheila Woods Skipper, the Administrative Judge. Also joining us tonight is the Honorable Scott DeClaudio. Honorable Angelo Folietta. The Honorable Vincent Furlong. The Honorable Glennis Hill. The Honorable Tamika Lane. The Honorable Paul Patrick. And the Honorable Daniel Schulman. We are also honored tonight to have a number of Pennsylvania senators with us. Senator Jimmy Dillon, Senator Marty Flynn, and Senator Vincent Hughes. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge the past Musmanno recipients who are in the audience this evening. Please hold your applause until the end, because there are a number of people here who are past Musmanno recipients. The first Musmanno recipient I'd like to introduce is Carolyn Nelson Shepard. Shane Inspector. Ed Chacker, Tom Klein, Alan Feldman, Tom Duffy, Bob Mongaluzzi, and once again, the Honorable Frederica Messiah Jackson. At this time, I would like to introduce Judge Messiah Jackson again, who's going to be giving us the history of Justice Musmanno.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is said that a judge brings his or her life experiences to the bench as he or she applies the law to the facts of each case. When Justice Michael A. Musmanno ascended to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania in January 1952, he brought 55 years of human drama to the bench. He had a brilliant career as a litigator, a trial lawyer, a legislator, a trial judge in Allegheny County. He was a gifted narrator, the author of at least 16 books, and a tireless defender of democracy. So what were the life experiences that this man brought to our Pennsylvania Supreme Court? In addition to his keen intellect, he brought compassion, sensitivity to mistreatment, a loathing of brutality and torture, his innate appreciation for justice and fairness. It's not that his 6 colleagues on the court were heartless or blockheads, but Musmanno believed that the awesome powers of the law should come with responsibility to ensure a level playing field for the injured and disabled in the courthouse. He believed that with great power comes great responsibility. It's been said that in his first 5 years on the Supreme Court, Musmanno wrote more dissenting opinions than all the other justices collectively in the previous 50 years. His eloquently written dissenting opinions he wrote with careful legal scholarship, thoughtful analysis, and they were widely read. And very slowly, ever so slowly, he made an impression on Pennsylvania's judiciary, on the legal community, and the public. And as time went on, his voice was heard in the court's majority. The Supreme Court acknowledged that there were evolving societal standards of behavior and expectations and a burden of proof. Michael Angelo Musmanno was one of 9 children born to his Italian immigrant parents. He was very proud of his Italian heritage, and when historians suggested that the Vikings were the first to discover America, well, he wrote and spoke extensively to rebut those allegations in support of Christopher Columbus. He was the first Italian-American to serve on our Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And from an early age, he experienced tragedy and heartbreak. His mother died when he was a child when an oil lamp exploded. At age 14, he worked in the coal mines with his father. He saw the abuses, the poor treatment, the injuries suffered by the workers. He attended Georgetown University and Georgetown Law School. He completed additional postgraduate work at universities in Rome, Harvard, Oxford, and Notre Dame. In 1920, while he was a student, Sacco and Vanzetti were arrested in Massachusetts. They were charged and probably wrongfully convicted of robbery and first-degree murder. 7 years later, they were both sentenced to death. And during those 7 years, Musmanno traveled back and forth to New England, working pro bono for the Defense Committee. However, as we know, Sacco and Vanzetti were executed in August 1927. And it was in 1927 that he was elected to serve 2 terms as a state representative. In Harrisburg, he sponsored legislation to repeal Pennsylvania's blue laws, which prohibited retail sales on Sunday. It was also State Representative Musmanno who brought the beginning of the end to the notorious coal and iron police. Those men were private employees, paid by and controlled by the coal and steel companies. Their primary role as strikebreakers was to crush organized labor and terrorize communities. Representative Musmanno was fiercely anti-communist, and he sponsored anti-sedition legislation. In 1931, Musmanno was elected to the county court in Allegheny County. It's similar to our municipal court here in Philadelphia. And in 1933, he was sworn into the Common Pleas Court in Allegheny County. During his time on the bench, and he spent almost 20 years on the bench, he was also called to service in World War II when he was appointed as a military leader in Sorrentine, Italy. Later, he was appointed to go to Austria to chair a board created after the Yalta Conference. After the war, the Pittsburgh Press reported in 1948 that Musmanno led the United States investigation to determine whether Adolf Hitler died at the end of World War II. Captain Musmanno authored a comprehensive report of the interviews that he held with Hitler's secretaries, top generals, his dentists, and forensic experts. Hitler's jawbone and teeth had been identified, and Musmanno determined that the facts and evidence conclusively established Hitler's death in the bunker. And then years later, in 1961, by then he had been 9 years on our Supreme Court, it was Justice Musmanno who traveled to Jerusalem to testify as a prosecution witness in the Israeli trial of Adolf Eichmann. Now, you're going to hear more about tonight's honoree, Samuel Pond, in a few minutes. You will hear that the early life lessons of Samuel Pond in many ways replicate those early life experiences of Michael A. Musmanno. Both men demonstrated courage, care, and concern on behalf of injured workers. Justice Musmanno, the great dissenter, strived for justice and equity for all parties in Pennsylvania's jurisprudence. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, for that wonderful and inspiring history. We're going to continue the program. At some point, the governor is going to be here, and we're going to have to segue immediately into him being here and introduce him. But we want to continue with the regular program at this time and continue with acknowledging our past presidents at this time. Please silence your cell phones if you have not already. And please hold your applause until all of the past presidents are recognized. I want to begin first with, once again, Carol Nelson Shepard. Ed Chacker. Alan Feldman. Steve Wigreiser. Bob Mongaluzzi, Jim McEldrew, Sam Pond, Michael Barrett, Ron Kovler, Tom Duffy, Larry Cohan, Joe Messa, and this is going to be an epic fail on my part, but I'm going to try my best. Ezra Wolgener. Tim Lawn. Dan Levin. And finally, unfortunately, he's not here yet, Ken Fulgenetti. And please, no longer hold your applause. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge our gold sponsors for the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association. I'm going to announce the gold sponsors and the representatives that are here this evening. From U.S. Claims, Kevin Meehan. From Sage Settlement Consulting, George Audie. From Glocko Technologies, Linda Glocko. From Physician Life Care Planning, Dr. Amy Fitzsimmons and Dr. Joseph Gonzalez. From the Expert Institute, Charlotte Kilbride. From Esquire Bank, Jennifer Janoff and Ari Kornhaber. We greatly appreciate the partnership we have with our gold sponsors and thank them for coming out tonight. At this time, we're going to take a break for dinner. Once the governor gets here, we are going to go immediately to him, and we're going to take about a half an hour break. But as soon as the governor gets here, we're going to bring him immediately to the podium. So enjoy dinner. Thank you again, everybody. The Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association is honored this evening to welcome Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a seat. You know, thank God the Phils closed things out last night, or, right? No one would be here. Although I must say, I hope I'm not telling tales out of school. I just said to Shannon, one of our great leaders, I said, Shannon, I assumed I wouldn't see you tonight. He said, even I would have been here tonight if the Phils had to play a game 3. That's how I feel about Sam Pond. And I know that's how we all feel, or at least some of us feel. I don't know, Sam. It is really a pleasure to be with you, and I'm grateful for the chance to share a few words with you tonight. I just want to start on a moment of personal privilege. As I look around this room, so many of our legal leaders, and I know in large measure because Sam's here, so many of our union leaders who are with us tonight, y'all have been with me every step of the way throughout my career. And I just want to say how grateful I am for that. Every day I go to work as the 48th governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, humbled by the work I get to do, and so many of you in this room made that possible. I'm indebted to you and I'm grateful to you. Thank you all so very, very much. I've enjoyed our work together because together we have taken on the big fights in the courtrooms and in the court of public opinion together. We've stood up for the good people of Pennsylvania, and together we've all gotten things done for them. And so tonight, to be able to be back here as your governor was important to me. But it was especially important to me to be back here tonight to have the chance to say a few words about my friend, your friend, and our honoree, Sam Pond. You see, Sam, you should clap for Sam. Go ahead. Every day, the group assembled here fights for workers, fights for kids, fights for our community, and Sam really epitomizes that work that we do. Sam, his life, his career, I think, truly embodies the legacy that's been left behind by our former Supreme Court Chief Justice Michael Musmanno. For over 30 years, Sam has been a staunch advocate for the injured, for the disabled, and for those who need a champion in organized labor. His practice at Pond, Lehocky, and Giordano has grown into one of the largest workers' comp and disability law firms in the country. Don't take my word for it. Just look at all the billboards that are around our community. I want you to know, true story, when I got that call at like 6:30 in the morning this summer that a part of 95 had literally fallen into the ground. That wasn't on my, you're clapping for that? That wasn't on my bingo card, having 95 fall in, but they wanted to take me up in a helicopter to be able to see and assess the damage so we could make a plan that, by the way, allowed us to get that road reopened in 12 days. 12 days. Thanks to the hard work, the grit, and the determination of the Philadelphia building trades who are out there 24/7. But I want you to know, in this moment where I got out there, the flames had just been put out. The helicopter begins to take off. And the first thing I see is Sam Pond's billboard right over the spot. And it seemed when I went back there each day to assess how quick the progress was going, Sam put up another freaking billboard every day. His billboards are everywhere. His lawyers are everywhere. And thank God they are, because they're looking out for us. And they're a tough, scrappy law firm with a leader who understands what Philly's all about. Because this is the place, this is the community, these are the streets that raised him. And while Sam sits up here tonight and normally in real nice suits and looking all good, it only takes a second to talk to Sam to realize, notwithstanding that exterior, he's the same guy inside. He's the same guy who was raised in this scrappy Philly community that every day goes out and fights for those people who need his help. The people that come in his office or call him on the phone or stop by his Northeast Philly office or wherever and say, I've been injured. I'm worried about how I'm going to take care of my family. I'm worried about if I'm going to be able to work again in this field that I love. They turn to him and he tells them it's going to be okay. We're going to make this work for you. And the reason he's able to say that, the reason he's able to comfort them in this really difficult time is because in many ways, Sam is them. He understands them. His firm understands them. And when folks are down and out and they turn to their lawyers, thank God y'all are there, especially thank God that Sam Pond is there. He embodies the determination and the grit, the tenacity of this city, and I'm proud of what he means for all of us and what he has meant for me. Sam Pond is someone who understands people, and Sam Pond is someone who can speak to anyone, and thankfully Sam Pond is one of us. I'm proud to have worked with Sam on so many issues. Political fights we've been engaged in together, and also the work we've done to secure more rights for the good people of this city and in this Commonwealth. Together, with Sam's leadership here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we've protected reproductive rights and reproductive freedom throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We've worked together to stand up to powerful interests who have wronged people. From the pharmaceutical companies to the big corporations, we have made sure to tilt that balance back in this Commonwealth toward the people who need us most. And Sam Pond, together with so many of you in this room, working with me and others, have made sure that we could deliver justice and fairness and a sense of equity in our Commonwealth at a time where, let's face it, in our nation right now, that sense of balance isn't always there for folks. That feeling that somehow the rules can be rigged for certain people, the standards are set this way for one person and this way for another, yet Sam Pond and so many of you go out every single day and fight for the people who so often don't have a voice in our system. I honor that work. That is the work of justice. That is the work of delivering real equity in our society. Sam is one who routinely will pick up the phone, send me a text, and share an insight with me that makes me think about our politics or governing just a little bit differently. To kind of break out of those talking points that too many folks in D.C. love to rely on and really get at the heart of what people are feeling. He forces me to think about stuff differently. I know he does that for many of you here as well. That's an important aspect of who he is, in part because of how he was raised and the manner in which he came up in this business. But it's also important that we not lose that in our politics, that we not lose that in our justice system, that we constantly strive to make sure that that equity is something that undergirds us. Because with that equity comes opportunity. And I believe Pennsylvania should be a place where everyone has the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. And as Sam will tell you, because he's told me this over and over again, we got to make sure we have equity in our communities. And the way we do that is by making sure we invest in our schools. We invest, yes, in public safety. Everybody has a right to walk down the street and both be safe and feel safe. And that we invest in economic opportunities for people who have oftentimes been left out, people who have oftentimes been left behind. That common sense approach in the courtroom and in our communities is what Sam Pond is all about and why it's so critical that we honor him here tonight. And it's what I've tried to bring to my work as your governor in just my first 9 months in office, investing record amounts in our school, investing record amounts in our public safety, hiring 400 new Pennsylvania state troopers to keep our communities safe. Investing in economic development, not just in the high-rises in downtown Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, but in main streets that dot our communities all across this Commonwealth. Making sure our government actually works for people. You remember the unemployment compensation backlog that existed during the pandemic? So many of you confronted that for the people you represent. We eliminated that backlog in just my first few months in office. You remember how we talk about citizen participation, how important it is to have all voices at the table, no matter what you look like, where you come from, who you love, or who you pray to, yet there are forces on the other side that Sam and Shannon and others have tried to defeat who want to take away our fundamental freedoms, the most fundamental of them all being the right to vote. Well, let me tell you something, not on my watch. Under our leadership, Pennsylvania is now an automatic voter registration state. All those people who have tried to take away our freedoms, try and take away the right to organize. Let me tell you, on my watch, this will never be a right-to-work state here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And on my watch, working with all of you, working with Sam, working with Shane and your other leaders here, we will continue to make sure that we deliver equity by making sure people have access to our courts, making sure that they have access to seek redress when they've been wronged, particularly when they've been wronged by powerful interests. At the end of the day, that is what this organization is all about equity, about fairness, about access, about making sure that everyone, no matter their challenge, has the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. And at the end of the day, that work that you do in the courtroom and in the community, that work that I'm trying to do as your governor, that is fundamental to who we are as Pennsylvanians and fundamental to the strength of our democracy. As you go forth tonight and you continue to honor Sam with speeches and important words and compliments that he has earned, I hope you'll recognize as you leave here that our work continues, right? The burden of greatness, Winston Churchill said, is real responsibility. Well, I hate to say it to this group, but you're going to continue to have real responsibility even after this gala ends here tonight. And part of the real responsibility you have is to not just honor Sam for his work to bring about more fairness and equity and justice here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but to leave here tonight committed to making sure we have people in public service to do that work. And you have an opportunity to exercise that unique responsibility all of you as trial lawyers and labor leaders and civic leaders have as you go forth, as we approach a pivotal election this November for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and our other appellate courts. Courts that are going to determine whether or not we have clean air to breathe and pure water to drink. Courts that will determine whether or not women have the freedom to make decisions over their own bodies. Courts here in this Commonwealth that will allow us to simply stand up and say again and again that love is love and you should marry the person that you love in this Commonwealth. Courts that will protect your right to organize and focus on making sure that balance of power between the corporations and the individuals in our communities are balanced out. We have an opportunity, indeed a responsibility, to make sure that that work continues, to make sure that that equity prevails in our Commonwealth. And to do that, we must elect Dan McCaffrey to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court this November. As so much of the balance of power shifts from Washington to the states, the great laboratories of democracy that Brandeis spoke of, so too does the burden shift to our state Supreme Court. So much has been asked of you, and this is the last thing I'll say. So much has been asked of you because you have that burden of responsibility. But time and time again, this community has stepped up to do its part. I've remarked to Sam and Shane in private, and I'll say it publicly here, probably the most consequential political season, important election of the last decade, as much as I'd love to say it's me being your 48th governor, well, maybe a close second, I'll say, was our 2015 Supreme Court elections that the people in this room almost single-handedly delivered on across this Commonwealth. We cannot slip back from that progress you made. You have a responsibility to carry that forth. I have a responsibility to continue that work, and I will do that. I will do that under Sam's leadership, under Shannon's leadership, and under all of yours. I'm grateful for the chance to speak with you tonight. I thank you for the honor you've given me to serve as your governor, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you for being here tonight to recognize Philadelphia's own, a man who has never forgotten where he's come from, a man who has been committed to justice and righteousness and fairness in the streets of Philadelphia where he was growing up and in the courtrooms of our Commonwealth, our good friend Sam Pond. Thank you all so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You as well. Thank you all. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for joining us this evening, those inspiring words, and for coming to honor Sam. We're going to take a break for everybody to catch their breath, and then we're going to resume the program shortly. Thank you. Thank you again, everybody, for your cooperation. So we're going to start the main part of our program this evening. And there's some wonderful tributes to Sam, and I'm going to start with the first one right now. Former Governor Ed Rendell unfortunately could not be here with us tonight, but he did send a letter which I'm going to read to everybody and share with Sam. This is a letter from former Governor Rendell, dated October 5th of 2023. To the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers to the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers. Let me begin by apologizing for not being with you in person for tonight's dinner. I'm unfortunately battling Parkinson's disease. I am fortunate that I have only one symptom of the many that often come with the disease that has affected my balance. It makes it difficult for me to go places and attend in person. But I did not want the occasion of Sam Pond being presented the 42nd Justice Musmanno Award to occur without adding my 2 cents. I congratulate the organizers for picking Sam to receive what is a very prestigious honor. He deserves it. He is not only a formidable trial lawyer who has built one of the outstanding workers' compensation firms in the nation, but he has been an active participant in trying to make our city, state, and nation a better, fairer place. The same passion that Sam invokes in representing the client, the same passion that Sam invokes in representing his clients, he demonstrates in fighting for our society as he grants opportunity to those who have had none and cares for those who need help. I've gotten to know Sam because of his work for the Democratic Party and for many candidates. He is effective in his support for them, but he is just as effective in arguing for change when they reach elected office. Philadelphia would be well served by having 100 Sam Ponds. Well, come to think of it, maybe just 50. Edward Rendell. Next, I'd like to share with you a pre-recorded video from Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. If you could look behind me now. Lieutenant Governor Davis would like to share his wishes for Sam on this special evening.
Good evening, Philadelphia trial lawyers. This is Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight for your 42nd annual award dinner, but our new baby is keeping me close to home right now. However, I didn't want to miss an opportunity to congratulate Sam Pond, who is being honored tonight with your Justice Musmanno Award. As some of you may know, I'm the proud son of a union bus driver, and I grew up in a blue-collar town in McKeesport. Sam also was raised in a union family and working-class neighborhood in Northeast Philly. We both saw firsthand how a union job can be the ticket to the middle class for so many families. Sam went to law school and became a tireless fighter for injured and disabled people and union workers. He also has been a visionary leader throughout the Pennsylvania Alliance, helping elect great public servants who can be champions for working people. I've often said that the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power. Sam has spent his life helping those who are closest to the pain gain access to their own power, whether it's through the courts or at the ballot box. He is a great Pennsylvanian, and I'm thrilled that the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association has chosen to honor him at tonight's event. Congratulations, Sam.
That was awesome. And I have for Sam a copy of former Governor Rendell's letter and a proclamation from the Lieutenant Governor, which I'll show everybody, which is another special presentation that we have for Sam this evening. So next, I'd like to introduce Shane Inspector, who is going to be introducing Sam and presenting the Musmanno Award to Sam this evening. Shane?
Well, good evening. Thank you, Al Carlson. Thank you for your service as our president. We are very grateful to you for the sacrifices you've made. Thank you to Drew Duffy, who will be succeeding Al Carlson as our president. Pat Patterson gave me 30 minutes to introduce Sam, but the governor has taken 28 minutes of my 30 minutes, which I suppose at some level is good news. As Al said, my happy honor is to present Sam Pond with the 2023 Michael A. Musmanno Award. After I sit, and I will speak very briefly, I beg you to listen carefully to Sam's message, because I believe it will be a brilliant and inspirational clarion call to action. Just trying to put a little pressure on you, Sam. But what Sam won't tell you is why he is the supremely gifted messenger of the clarion call for action. Yes, you have a program at your table. Yes, within it, there is a whole page, single space, devoted to Sam's professional accomplishments. But that doesn't tell you what I've seen. And I've seen it for more than 30 years. Way back then, I met an earnest young man determined to put the Philadelphia trial lawyers on a firm financial footing. And here's how I came to know him. It wasn't by email. That's because email didn't exist back then. It wasn't by U.S. mail. That's what we used to use, by the way. Or by fax, or by phone. It was in person. He came to my office. He made his case. He was compelling. But it wasn't just that he came in person or that he was persuasive. It was that he wasn't there for a transaction. He was there for forever. And that's because Sam Pond believes in the power of relationships. Sam knows it's not enough to be right. He knows he can't accomplish much, he can't be effective in the long term unless he is known, unless he is trusted, unless he is liked, unless he is respected. Sam Pond's professional calling has been to go where no trial lawyer has gone before. He's developed close personal relationships with those in politics and government who hold the fate of our clients in their hands. He's done so regardless of party. He's done so regardless of geography. He's done so day and night, near and far, at great sacrifice to his professional practice, to his personal time, and to his personal resources. He's become the trial lawyer to go to in existential crises, where all of our clients' rights are on the firing line. And I want to highlight just two of these crises. First, in 2006, both houses of the Pennsylvania legislature acted to abrogate the doctrine of joint liability. Who here thinks that joint liability is important? Please raise your hand. The bill was placed on Governor Ed Rendell's desk for signature. It was an election year, and the governor was facing stiff opposition. And when Ed Rendell had run for governor in 2002, he had said, yes, let's get rid of joint liability. This wasn't a tough spot for us and our clients. It was a seemingly impossible spot for us and our clients. But like Superman, in came Sam Pond. Sam had developed a very close relationship with Ed Rendell. Sam was Governor Rendell's friend and advisor. They had had countless meetings and meals together. Ed Rendell trusted, liked, knew, and respected Sam Pond. Sam explained to the governor why the bill was wrong and why the bill should be vetoed. Ed Rendell vetoed that bill because of Sam Pond. That meant fair compensation for thousands of Pennsylvanians who never knew that they had Sam Pond to thank for their access to civil justice. Fast forward 12 years to 2018. Both houses of the Pennsylvania legislature acted to gut key protections of Pennsylvania's workers' compensation system. The bill was sent to Governor Tom Wolf for signature. In came Sam Pond. Sam had developed a very close relationship with Tom Wolf. Sam was Governor Wolf's friend and advisor. They had had countless meetings and meals together. Tom Wolf trusted, liked, knew, and respected Sam Pond. Sam explained to the governor why the bill was wrong and why it should be vetoed. Tom Wolf vetoed the bill because of Sam Pond. That meant fair compensation for thousands of Pennsylvanians who never knew they had Sam Pond to thank for their access to justice. There is nothing harder in politics than to get a governor to veto an act of both houses of the legislature. In the long annals of Pennsylvania politics, I know of no one who has convinced two separate governors to veto two separate bills. Only Sam Pond could get this done. Only Sam Pond could get two governors to take such profound and decisive action. He is so deeply deserving of the Michael A. Musmanno Award because above everything else, it is he who inspires such profound and decisive action from so many. I am so proud to present to you the 2023 Michael A. Musmanno Award winner, Samuel H. Pond.
I guess I could I put that there for you, Al? Good evening. Well, I got to follow Governor Shapiro and Shane Inspector. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I did have a slide, and my first slide, Governor Shapiro took some of Shannon's speech and took a lot of my speech because I was going to just talk about myself. But I have that Phillies insignia up there because last night, raise your hand if you were sweating as to whether or not the Phillies were going to lose and no one was going to show. I know I was sweating because I'm the awardee, but the honoree, I was really worried whether or not they were going to win. And my wife kind of went upstairs, and I know they were up 3-0, and then she said, they hit a grand slam. Who hit a grand slam? It would have been 4-3. But I was really worried, and I was worried because if they had Game 3 this evening, and by the way, why don't we have any day games? If they had Game 3 today, and all the Philadelphians were expecting to see Shane Inspector and Tom Klein on TV behind home plate. And then the Phillies lost. And they said they lost because Shannon and Tom weren't sitting behind home plate. Where were they? Honoring Sam Pond. Who the hell? Get after that, Sam. I wouldn't have any clients. So the baseball gods spoke. Some folks have come up to me and said, what a crowd this evening. And I really am very grateful and appreciative for everyone taking the time from your busy schedules to be here this evening. And apparently this is somewhat of a close record crowd, and some people have been telling me that. A tip to future Musmanno honorees: buy 20 tables. We had so many tables, I had to invite the guys from my neighborhood, get them suits, and they're over in that table over there. Finally, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, Bob and Joyce McMonagle, who have been my parents longer than my parents were alive, insisted to be here this evening. And they're both 88. My lovely mother-in-law, Joyce McMonagle, and I know a lot of the union guys, Bobby Walsh, you know Bobby McMonagle, I think, and some other people do as well. Well, Mongo, you have to put up with him down at the Phillies game. He probably goes to 50 Phillies games at 88. Look, tonight is about some of the unsung heroes. I have to say thank you to some folks. You know, getting an award like this is really, I'm simply here as a recipient, the one person, but it's about a collective. And a lot of people in this room have allowed me to get here this evening, and some not in this room. First, I want to make some thanks. I want to thank Drew Duffy as the chair of the Musmanno Committee. Great job. Thank you, Drew. I'd like to thank the committee for bestowing this honor upon me. I am really, truly humbled. And clearly, Pat Patterson and Susan and the entire PTLA staff, you threw another great award evening, and thank you very much for all you do for PTLA. To our labor allies, thank you for your support and confidence. Your fight is our fight. To the medical community, thank you for treating and advocating for our clients. To Abe Rich, where you at, Abe? Is he here still? Hey, Abe. Abe has been counsel to our firm for many years, and I am really grateful for your friendship. To George Martin, for giving a young attorney the opportunity to represent injured workers, and to all the members of the Workers' Compensation Bar, thank you. To the Temple Beasley School of Law, for giving a kid from Northeast Philly a shot to practice in this great profession. And a moment of silence for the passing of President Epps. She was always very kind to me and supportive. To our executive committee at Pond, Lehocky, Giordano, Sean Lehocky, Brian Riley, Adam Goldstein, Dylan Pond, Jen Hines, who has this great after party she's going to have you attend at the W. Did a lot of work in that. And my personal assistant, Brittany Connor, for putting up with all the edits of my speech. Thank you. To all the partners and attorneys at Pond Lehocky, and to the staff, many of whom have been with us for decades. We often, Jerry, Tom, and myself, we often get the limelight, but you're the backbone. You're the backbone of our firm. Thank you for all you do for our clients and for this organization. And just for a moment, stand up and get acknowledged. Come on, get up, stand up. Attorneys, come on. Were you bashful? To my son, Dylan, and his wife, Julia, it's a joy to watch you live such meaningful lives and making a difference in the world. Dylan, welcome to our profession. I've been blessed with incredibly determined, strong, and caring women in my life. My mother was someone who made you believe nothing was impossible. Gentlemen, she told every one of you, you better believe in yourself as well. Being told that anything is possible by a parent, along with unconditional love, is a powerful and magical pill. My sister here this evening has that same belief and energy. She was the toughest and prettiest kid in the neighborhood. She is a successful and award-winning restaurateur on her own, but most importantly, you've always believed in me. I love you. To Judge Diane Welsh, you have been a constant role model for me in this profession. I am honored to call you sister. My father was a gentleman who instilled politics, history, social movements, and told me to read any book and every book I could. Most importantly, he told me there's no tolerance. There's no tolerance of ignorance. And there's no tolerance of fear. And there's no tolerance of injustice. Fight it. Get in the game and stand up for the people that you can defend and fight for them. And I heard that at the dinner table all the time. How lucky I am to have my amazing brothers, Tom, Jerry. You have both stayed by me no matter what the odds. Jerry, we met 40 years ago at Temple. Litigated against each other for 3 years. Had a lot of battles. And we've been partners for 32. We are one. In fact, my sister told me my bow tie was crooked. I thought you were going to tell me my bow tie was crooked. Your leadership from president to PAJ to chair of the Disability Board to all your leadership positions has inspired all of us. You have always set an example of professional excellence. Tom, can I have your autograph? Or at least some Instagram tickets? You're such a humble and caring leader. Your talents are so deep and strong. You are selfless. You have no idea how grateful I am for your trust and loyalty and friendship. We are beyond blessed to have you, and I know I am. Finally, the rock. The wind not only beneath my wings, but our firm's wings and our clients' wings. My first grade sweetheart, Maureen Mary McMonagle Pond. You have sacrificed so much, the greatest sacrifice being our time together, so I could participate in this organization. Quietly, selflessly, always there, supporting me, believing in me. You have silently, as Shannon said, that the work that we do sometimes, especially when it comes to politics, we don't know just how many people we've helped. And you have silently helped so many. You have tirelessly set the example for all the families in our firm, and there's no way that this could be possible without you. I love you, and I thank you. That doesn't just apply to me in regard to the support of a spouse and family, and we were talking, Shane and I were talking to the governor about this. This applies to many of us. So I would like, if there's a spouse or family member here this evening, I'd like to have you stand up and be recognized. Do we have any here? Okay, Sherry. I want to raise, for all of the family members and spouses that aren't here, please raise your glass to them. Would you hand me that water? Tonight is not about one trial lawyer. It's about a 1,000-strong juggernaut called the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers and the spirit of Justice Musmanno. Musmanno must always be about us. So let us celebrate tonight our history, our mission, and our collective body of work. Whether it be in a courtroom, prepping a witness, writing a brief, lobbying in the halls of our republic, our pro bono work, volunteering in our communities, engaging in our charities, or sitting in our office with a family that has suffered a tragic loss. Our work is noble. No one ever thinks they will be a victim of tort or injured on the job. No one but us has the power and the ability to protect these victims. It is us against the Chamber of Commerce, the polluters and cheaters, the Fortune 500, the Insurance Federation, the industrial complexes. We are it. Your firm's it, your firm's it, Mongalucci's firm's it, Klein Inspector. It is only us. There is no one else to protect these victims. The people in this room are the regulators of a free enterprise system and no one else. Without you, there is no one to remedy civil wrongs and have those wrongs fairly compensated. But our role is not limited, nor is our social utility limited to just compensation for our clients. If the behavior is egregious, then we must seek to punish, to penalize, to deter. This extra mile must be walked. We must reveal, disclose, and expose facts of malicious harm. We must insist that as a condition of settlement, the wrongdoer remedy their faults, be it a dangerous workplace, a broken sidewalk, or a defective product. This is part and parcel of our value and our mission. If not, change will not happen, and the carnage will continue. Our adversaries would limit the deterrence of penalties and punitive damages, or worse, they would eliminate tort, cap recoveries, provide immunity, block entry to the courthouse, contract away constitutional rights. They would challenge the great equalizer and the sanctity of the contingent fee agreement. In effect, crush the weak, disabled, and injured. Not on our watch. Here is a message for those intent on harming our clients. Any foe of an open and independent civil justice system, the heart and lungs of a free society, will be dealt a swift and measured response by us. We have been and will continue to be reasonable men and women. We simply insist, as the governor said, a level playing field. But don't confuse reasonableness with weakness. This is not a threat, but a call to arms of a threat. We seek friends, not foes. But if we need to fight, we will respond with a battle-tested army of volunteers. Our weapons are words, facts, reason, and the truth. Our battlefield is a courtroom, and we will not let anyone take it from us. The dangers outside are many, but we can never let our house be selfish, focused on individual gain, or unleashed ego. For surely, we will stumble and fail. And despite the importance of our work, our accomplishments and sacrifices will all be in vain. We are a team of rivals, and as a team, we will either flourish or perish. The choice is ours. As protectors of the people, we will always be targets. We must police ourselves. We must continue to raise the professional bar. When we fail to try our cases, accept inadequate settlements, fail to put the client first as we swore to do, one call not returned, a lack of bedside manner. We are all blemished by just one act that lacks the highest professional standard, the Musmanno standard, our standard. For the advertisers among us, our legal brands are a reflection of the trial bar. Whether we serve 100 or 1,000, the professional standards of one client at a time must be ensured. We must demand excellence from ourselves and those that we lead. Failure to do so is a slippery slope. Thus, to the next generation, you must give us your time and your talents, and soon your treasure. We challenge you to make us stronger, more soldiers, more vision, more public relations, more political alliances. We have traditions: breakfast of champions, holiday party, community outreach, president's dinners. Musmanno, you must participate in them, and you must honor them. They remind us of our past, and they provide a strong foundation for our future. Do not be afraid of testing yourself. You are trial lawyers, tested daily. Believe in your work. You are on the threshold of leadership. Do not hesitate in answering the call to serve. You will not be alone. You will have the wisdom of those before you and the vision and energy of a new generation, your generation. It is your time to serve. To our new and future leadership, the spirit of Musmanno will challenge your courage. Do you have the stomach to stand up against the crowd? When there is groupthink in a meeting, will the great dissenter in you be heard? It must be heard. As leaders, your duty is to our members and those we represent. Musmanno made hard decisions, not popular decisions. And if service is below you, then leadership is beyond you. But you are trial lawyers, born to serve, thus born to lead. 70 have passed since the founders of this organization had an idea that became a reality. We are here tonight, This is the living, breathing reality of the founder's vision. And it's been 45 years since Musmanno left us on an October day, Columbus Day. Our founders and Musmanno would salute our body of work. They would look with awe at our accomplishments. They would be content, satisfied, at peace, knowing that you have climbed to such stature with honor, respect, and selfless teamwork, all achieved by an army of servant leaders and volunteers. When you depart this evening, carry your head high, not with hubris, but knowing that our work is self-evident. We are Philadelphia trial lawyers. Musmanno is a time of reflection, a time to renew our mission. Forward we go. Tonight we show our united will, our strength, and our commitment to our cause. Resolute in our craft, our profession, and our mission. Stronger, more determined. Standing shoulder to shoulder with our new governor, defending our judicial candidates, in solidarity with our labor allies, and supporting our legislative friends of both parties. It is with great appreciation and gratitude that you have allowed me to have a role with this great organization that has made a difference to so many. This organization has never had the luxury of easy years, only tempered by hard years. Nevertheless, I ask of you, no, I plead of you, to never be complacent or comfortable. The stakes are just too high. You must be willing to sacrifice to make our society just. The words are easy. The task is hard. The reward is justice and dignity for those we represent. Thus, we must never retreat from our duty to defend our clients. We will stand fast and fight on. To Musmanno, long live the Philadelphia trial lawyers. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane, and congratulations, Sam. What a wonderful night for the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association. I'm going to turn it over to Drew Duffy for some closing remarks.
Sam, that was incredibly inspirational. One more round of applause for Sam Pond. Thank you, everybody, for joining us to honor Sam tonight. We'll see everybody at the W. If not, have a safe drive home.